Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Wellness. I am Coach Tamara Williams, also known as Coach T at New Me with Coach T. And at New Me with Coach T, our goal is to empower overwhelmed women to lose the weight that prevents them from truly enjoying the amazing lives that they've worked so hard to build. A lot of times we see the number on the scale as the diagnosis, when in fact it's just a symptom of a deeper issue. And today's guest is perfect to help us unpack that a little deeper. Today's guest is Lois Hollis. She is a shame guilt educator, counselor, and filmmaker. Today, Lois shifts our opinions on one of the most taboo subjects, shame and guilt. Her 50 years experience in health, 15 years of research and counseling will bring us new knowledge of these misunderstood conditions to release us from the shame guilt struggle. Welcome, Lois.
Welcome. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share information. So, yes, we all can get out of the shame guilt prison that we are all in. It doesn't matter if you have eating problems or depression problems, or it attacks everybody in every corner. So, yeah, you're not alone. Believe me.
Okay, so let's start out. Tell us a little bit about shame and guilt. Okay, are they the same thing? Let's start there.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to give you information that's contrary to what you have heard. And if you hear it, you go, that really makes sense. And that's the reason why we're still in the shame guilt prison. Nobody gave us the key. Not your fault. It took a long time to come to these conclusions.
Right,
Okay, there is two problems that we have in the society and therapy, everything. Shame is good or shame is bad. And there's good shame and bad shame. And guilt is necessary because it keeps us moral or honest. I'm telling you today, shame guilt is the most dangerous energy. It's not even an emotion.
okay,
Love, how do you see love? Love as an feeling, right? But
right,
really, love is an energy that comes over us, and you could,
yeah,
right?
right,
Shame is the same way, but in the negative part.
okay,
Shame's an energy that comes over us. If it's outside of us, we can get rid of it.
hmm,
Okay? If it
hmm,
was inside of us, we can't.
right,
Shame is an external energy.
okay,
Shame, there is no good shame and there is no good guilt. Shame, guilt is the same energy.
okay,
Why do they call it differently? Shame's in the unconscious mind. It talks to you at night.
hmm,
You're no good, you're no good, you're no good. Guilt tells you you need to do penance because you did good, bad.
hmm,
It's the same energy. I'll make this clearer. As a nurse, I understand that if you have a virus in your brain, they call it meningitis or
okay,
bacteria. I'm making this very simple so that there's medical people there, excuse me, but I need to make a point. If you have the same virus or bacteria in your colon, they call it colitis.
okay,
If you have the same bacteria or virus in your gallbladder, they call it cystitis.
okay,
Okay, so that's how our medical world is. So if shame's in the unconscious mind and guilt's in the conscious, they're going to give it two different names.
okay,
Do you see how that messes your brain up?
it does.
It does, okay? So I'm saying the word shame guilt because shame guilt is the energy that makes us stupid,
Hmm,
okay? Shame guilt is not of us. And there is no good shame and there's no good guilt,
hmm,
because it is the most dangerous force upon humanity. We are beautiful, loving souls, all of us.
hmm,
God made us that way.
He did.
And they said, all live our best, and we all try, and we all want to, and we love, and we joy, and we're happiness. And then we get hit with something, and we go down that's shame, guilt energy. So if you can today just get a little shift in your consciousness and say, ugh, shame, guilt, you don't belong to me. I'm going to talk to my depression or anxiety or frustration. Concentrate on those emotions which are human. You can't get rid of depression. You can get rid of it, you can change it. But see, depression is really the negative part of compassion. See, every emotion has a negative and a positive orientation.
That's interesting. So depression is the negative component.
Component of compassion.
Okay.
So we have all these beauties in us, and then shame, guilt turns us around.
Hmm.
Anxiety and intuition is the same thing. We have intuition. You have intuition. I feel like I need to do this. Shame,
Right.
guilt turns it around and makes us anxious.
Huh. So
I
instead of me being preparing to do something, then now I am anxious, I'm concerned, I'm fearful about the thing that's coming up instead of me making preparations.
exactly. So you say, get it out of my life, shame, guilt. Okay, it's not that easy. We need a couple days for this, but I'm telling you the short form of it.
Right.
If you can just switch your mind from the shame, guilt, and say something to yourself. In my own healing, I had to say, I'm good. I just had to do that. I was a very abused child and I was told many, many stories. So for me, that worked. Whatever works for you, you say that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You know, the mind has to hear a positive two or three times to cancel out a negative.
Okay. And then you said that that is the most dangerous
Yes,
energy. Can you go elaborate on that a little bit more? Why do you see it that way as being the most dangerous?
because it has made humanity, made each and every one of us fall from the human beauty that we are.
Hmm.
It is shame, guilt causes all negative emotions.
So anger, rage, they're just byproducts of shame and guilt.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is another thing. If you get hurt by a shameful remark,
Mm-hmm.
you're like a little bit hurt, but you're not like going to commit suicide. You're like, okay, well, throw that off.
Right.
However, you get more shame and guilt, then you get anxious.
Okay.
If you get more shame and guilt, you get anger. If you get more
Okay.
shame and guilt, you get hatred. If you get more shame and guilt, you get fear. So it's all how much shame and guilt you have.
Hmm.
And this
So
is not in the books. It's in my book, but it's not in the books. But I'm trying to give you the idea that shame, guilt is the most dangerous energy upon us.
hmm,
And we were told it doesn't exist, more or
hmm.
less, haven't we? We haven't been able to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
As a teacher and a speaker, they said, "What is your topic?" I said, "Yeah, oh, we don't talk about that. You can talk about joy, happiness, and love." And I go, "Okay, that's nice, but you ain't going to have joy, happiness, love. You got shame and guilt." They go, "Well, we'll talk to you later." But the world has changed because of the virus, so people are like, "Oh, okay, maybe we need to talk about this."
And the problem is the things that we don't talk about, we can't heal.
Well,
So
duh, yeah, like
that's the whole
yeah,
problem. Yeah.
and I always say, people, well, if you don't know your enemy, how can you win?
Exactly.
They go, I don't want to think about that. I said, okay, bye. You're exactly right. So this is what I do. I help educate people. But we all need education.
We
We've
all,
been told the wrong story. It's not your fault for having guilt. You've been told the wrong story from your culture, your mother, your father, your grandmother. It's nobody's fault. It's not your grandmother's, it's not your kids, it's not your two jobs. It's shame and guilt that has come upon you to turn you from a beautiful positive being to a negative one. So if something does something to you, you
Mhm.
have to learn how to get rid of it. It doesn't belong to us because it's not good guilt.
Right.
People say, "Oh, I really want to help my friend move. And if I don't, I'll feel guilty." I would like to have people elevate themselves and say, "I want to help my friend move because it's the right thing to do."
Hmm. So you're making a conscious decision that
Vision
I want
to
to.
elevate
Right.
myself. We're here, we have eternal progression. We need to keep moving.
Right.
So I wonder if this is a good time for questions because I can go on for a couple hours and that's not going to work.
Well, before we do that, what I want to talk a little bit about emotional eating because, like I said in the beginning, a lot of what I work with my clients is eating healthier, living a healthier lifestyle. But of course, we know that it's not just what they are eating, it goes deeper than that. So, kind of speak to how does shame and guilt affect our eating habits, especially when we choose to eat things that are unhealthy when we know better.
Okay, it's the inner critic part of us. It's the shame guilt that we have inside of us. Everyone does. And yeah, we don't you're not really good enough. You're a failure. You're not any good. We're always fighting that premise that we've been told. And if you didn't get it from your mother, you got it from a teacher or your brother or your sister. So it doesn't matter. We can't blame anybody. So that's in us. So that's why we choose something that may not be good for us because we should destroy ourselves because we're not any good.
Huh.
Do you see that?
So I don't deserve to eat foods that are going to nourish my bodies and make me feel better about myself because
Because I'm not good enough to be happy. Also, if some people, this is not everybody,
right,
everybody's got their own record, okay? Believe me. I'm
right.
just telling you what I have observed from myself as well, because I ate to be happy. Let me tell you, I ate more potato chips than you could put a sign on.
We've all
I
been there, I think.
I
At some
mean,
point now.
three bags was nothing. Okay, I have an incredible fast metabolism. I could eat a whole cake or a whole pie. So I'm with you, girls. Okay, so if I'm not good enough, then I shouldn't be living. And that how
Hmm.
can I destroy my? It's a slow suicide.
Hmm. Wow.
Because it's true, but we're being told by our inner critic we're no good because that's what our culture told us. That's what we heard from the um the driving school teacher. Or I mean, it doesn't matter where we heard it. It's up to you to fix it.
Right.
So I'm telling you why we keep eating, even though we know I'm a nurse. I ate a whole cake. Do you believe that? My kids would get upset and they go, "Wow, wasn't there a cake?" I go, so then I had to buy two cakes,
Hmm.
one to eat and one for the kids. I mean, how pathetic is that? Okay. So I know you girls. Okay, I've been there. But I've been so abused that I knew I was no good. So why should I even be here?
It doesn't matter what I eat. What difference
Exactly. I
it
know better,
uh-huh.
but the inside of me talks louder than what I know. So don't beat yourself up. It's shame, guilt that you have gathered. We all have gathered it. Some of us more or less, and some of us are more sensitive than others. It doesn't really matter. We all have it. So you need to just focus on, I'm good. I'm good. And that's my film in January. It's I'm good film.
Hmm.
And if I can just share that with you today, is that when you
Yeah.
feel that shame also works on our physical body.
Okay.
Think of a computer. What happens when you get a virus in your computer?
It affects
Yes.
all the operating systems. You can't access certain
Access
content.
anything, and if you do your
Yeah,
Microsoft Word, it doesn't save it, and you're like
right.
so pissed off, and it's crazy, right?
Right.
Okay. Shame, guilt is a bad energy, negative, very negative energy. When it goes in your body, it alters the frequency, the energy of your organs.
Hmm. Wow.
Okay. And it doesn't perform properly like it's supposed to.
Right.
So it can make your body more sensitive to illness.
Hmm.
So it is the most dangerous thing there is.
And especially now, I mean, it is so important that we keep our immune systems up, that we be as healthy physically as we possibly can. I mean,
So we say, get the heck out of my life, shame
yeah.
guilt. Yeah, we don't entertain being, I'm not good enough.
So how do we recognize when shame and guilt is popping up? What differentiates that from?
You just feel someone says something to you and you go, oh, or you have a feeling of like people, mom's guilt is just so powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because when we have a child, we sort of go into a more of a faster life in as far as emotional spiritual growth. You know, we are on a treadmill.
Okay.
It's called eternal progression. As we all know, we are evolving. We are
Right.
evolving as a culture, but we also evolve as a human being. So we're kind of pushed to go a little faster in our evolution.
Because
So
now we
the
have this other person to take care of. It's not
and
just about us.
yeah, but we're all you'll find people after they have kids, they tend to be more wisdom orientated. They become stronger on a whole. On a
Right.
whole, I'm just talking generally. So
Right.
it seems like that was a good thing. They became stronger people. They have more wisdom. They're more compassionate. They
Mm.
grew spiritually.
Right.
So we're pushed to move faster. So
Mm.
I say to moms, you're on a treadmill without an off button.
Hmm.
And there ain't much you can do because they don't have an off button. So
Hmm.
don't beat yourself up. You're just learning your lessons quicker than before when you didn't have a child.
So it's okay
To
if,
have a treadmill without an off button, there ain't nothing you can do.
yeah, you're not a bad mom, because I know a lot of my clients, they have so many things on their plate. Most of my clients, they work outside of the home, they're professional women, they work all day. A lot of them are in management. So they have people come to them all day asking questions, and they have to come home and have two little kids pulling on them, mom, mom, mom. So it's like it never ends. It's like, when are they just have that time just to,
If a mom can work with releasing the shame guilt they have, then their lives become easier, even though they're doing a ton of things.
mm-hmm,
Shame guilt is so powerful. And I have seen people, especially my clients that I've worked with, actually become smarter when they've done shame guilt work because it seems that the shame guilt energy of I'm not good enough to do that right is now not completely out of their brain,
mm-hmm.
but to a large degree is less. They have more power, more brain cells to function than to cause themselves negative. I
Hmm.
think that's pretty powerful.
That's very powerful.
I would love to do a test and do an IQ test, but I never did. But I have noticed that people releasing the shame and guilt takes space up in their lives, in their brain, and they're competing for the positive management, taking care of the baby, doing this and this. And that's how you see people like, you're not focused. Well, they can't focus because the shame and guilt is so heavy in their brain, which they don't know about, and
Mm-hmm.
they can't focus. So once we decrease the amount of shame guilt that you are carrying, you can focus better, you can be smarter, you're more present.
It allows for more creativity.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, because you're not telling yourself you're bad, but
Right.
that's what shame guilt does.
Hmm.
That's its job, and it does it so well, and we
So,
don't even know it.
right. So what could we do? I come from a family of educators. What can be done at an early age to kind of focus on some of these positive patterns that you're talking about?
Well, positive is good, but if you don't get rid of the negative, you're always fighting. You're always, that's why, just be positive is not the solution. It's a helper,
Mm-hmm.
because you will fight, because there is negative parts inside of you that are negative, and they are fighting to be heard. So you say, just be positive. You're telling yourself to be quiet.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Okay.
I have a DVD on that on the YouTube, if anyone's in, and we can put that in the show notes,
Okay.
because I you can't spend that much time on it. We can always say I'm good, and when you don't use the word shame in your normal vocabulary.
Okay.
People say, "Oh, it's such a shame. It's raining today. I can't have my barbecue." Well, it's not a shame. It's sad. It's unfortunate. So that's one thing you can start doing. Don't. It's so sad that my friend broke his ankle. He can't play in the hockey game. No, it's not shameful. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But
Mm-hmm.
don't use the word shame, because you're
Okay.
calling it to yourself.
Hmm.
Never say my shame or my guilt. You can't own it.
Don't take possession of it.
You can say, don't say the shame, but don't say my shame.
Right. Right.
That's huge.
Hmm.
You don't want to own this stuff. You're talking to me. No, 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 no.
So tell us a little bit about how you work with your clients. You work on with them basically one on one.
At this point, yes.
Okay.
So that's one. Never say my shame or my guilt when it does feel like you are feeling something from, because when you're raising a kid, your childhood comes back to you, even if you don't think it is, and
Subconscious, it has to.
it
That
has to.
frame of reference of what it, of what it is to
And
interact with the child.
yeah,
Yeah.
so when that comes back to you, that's your 4-year-old self or 5-year-old self comes back with the shame that they got from the school teacher saying you didn't do your homework right. So they're the ones, the parts of you, yourself, that's carrying the shame.
Hmm.
So that's why mom guilt's so high, is because the kids you're having are bringing back, hello, remember that time? And you're going, oh, kid, shut up.
Wow. Wow.
So
That.
that's why mine guilt's so high.
Hmm.
I know.
That's a lot to process. Hmm.
That's why I said my movie's going to be 15 minutes. And then the next
A
one's
lot.
15 minutes. So that's why I go stop here, because I mean, I could go one for like, a whole day here.
Let's see if we have any questions. I'm going to go to my other screen over here just to see if any questions are coming in. Okay, doesn't look like we have any
Oh,
questions right
that's good.
now. Yeah, doesn't look like anybody has any questions right now. But before we end, can you just kind of tell us more about how you work with your clients, and if any of our viewers would like to connect with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Okay. The first thing that I think is best is to go to my website, loishollis.com. That's LOISHOLLIS.com. Sign up for my newsletter, which is the ebook. There's either way. The ebook is called 500 Questions, One Answer, and that will give you a little bit more than I could give you today. And the 500 questions are made in 25 segments, so you'll get an email with the book for about 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
So that can give you a lot of ahas, and also see yourself, because every question I answer.
Okay.
Now I have a video on YouTube and out of Discord into Harmony, but I also have it on my website. And I give a free 15-minute session for someone who is like, I'm really interested in what you do, but I really would like to talk to you before I sign up for a session. And that's fine. I talk to people that way. So they can get a sort of introduction of what I really do and their particular situation, how it can be helped. And that's, if you can just shift your mind saying shame and guilt is there, but it's not of me, I'm going to talk to my depression. I'm going to work on that. I'm not talking on, just know that we're not supposed to have shame and guilt. Even though somebody says, oh, we need guilt to be moral. No, we don't. We're already moral. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Well, thank you so much, Lois. This has truly been a very, very eye-opening conversation. I know it's definitely a lot for me to think about, and I know a lot for our viewers to think about as well. All of Lois's contact information will be in the description to this live video. So until next time, stay beautiful, stay powerful, and keep transforming. I am Tamara Williams, Coach T at New Me with Coach T. And I also want to invite you to join my private Facebook group, Transforming Me with Coach T, where I provide free and practical tips on losing weight so you can truly enjoy the amazing life that you've worked so hard to build. Until next time, take care, and we'll join us right back here tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Welcome to Wellness. Take care and have a wonderful day.